Kanye West really went and did a lot of things. So many things at this point that you would really have to be very specific as to what precisely they really went ahead and did. I mean, they're just shy of coming out as a gay fish. Well, I suppose we'll go ahead and take care of greetings. Greetings in chat so far to Bishops, Nimbus 100, K Shoal, and Haven. Well, that was quick. We will be rattling off a game. This one's particularly named brand. Being a copy. Yes, I am in fact aware that the disclaimer is still up. It's not showtime yet here. I'm just, speaking ahead of showtime with my audience, such as it is. I platonically love you as well, Itsugi. Greetings. They were in another channel. That was a bit of a... You'll have to excuse me. I am quite tired. So this might be especially silly. We're starting out with SCP-454, a terrible comic. It's a short one, so if you have a suggestion, it would be apt to have that number handy. Guests are welcome, but not expected. The last of my coffee is down. T-minus 10 minutes until the beginning. And greetings again, Itsugi Hime. It has been a while. A lot of people have been playing Oblivion. I've been playing Oblivion, Nexus playing Oblivion, a lot of people playing Oblivion. One day, I too might play Oblivion. Again. It's the playing again, after buying it again, that I'm not in a rush to do. Other people have articulated this particular bit of reluctance. With a similar caveat that everyone should get every bit of enjoyment of the game as possible. We're at 6 concurrent viewers and 4 likes. If it were 6 likes, we would only need 7 more. Alternatively, I suppose we could have 4 concurrent viewers and 4 likes, which is what it's telling me now, in which case my approval rating is at least 100%. Greetings, kill it. 106 sounds familiar. Well, if there's no other request when we go, well, we'll get on the first one. I'll check it out. I hope the Ecto Cooler turns out perfectly. Approval rating is holding well at 100%. Numbers changed, the percentage remains the same. Greetings in chat. You're wrong. I hope the new Pope is American. I just wish I could believe that was a worthwhile good thing. I understand they're very social justice-y new Pope, which some pundit on the internet was saying that that's exactly what the Catholic Church needs. And I agree, in the context of a DIY lobotomy kit. Roughly as needed. But I perhaps might be on record as having very, very low faith in large organizations of people, particularly old large organizations of people. Perhaps especially that one. Just because multiple authorities tend to be prone to entropy. And also, the history. Egads, the history. Ugh. Oh great, we'll have a Oblivion Husbando off in the chat. This will be very novel. It'll buy me lots of time to load up anything I forgot, which I don't think I did forget anything. This time. 6 minutes till. If I did, I better figure it out quick. Probably some small measure of promotion. All these years, and I'm still so awful about it. You know, I should be bolder. I should just promote and schedule these hours in advance. I'm working on it, kid. I'm working on it. 5 minutes still. Notably, if you feel your mic and audio setup is up to snuff, guests are welcome to help read files, as always, and take roles in dialogue. Otherwise, I shall wing it to the best of my ability. In other news, well, I might let you know that I might be, and very likely will be, moving the time for the SCP review to Sundays in the not-too-distant future, as I'm thinking about adding another show, in which case I would like to have no shows on like one day and the next. Mostly because I'm really hoping to reach out to collaborate with people. I'm just not there yet. I was thinking about including a gaming stream in the experiment. Why not? I just have to be able to get between the game and the music. Well, if you got a Nordhaven, it wasn't by me. I don't particularly like elves. Arcturus of Sarthos dials it up to 13 or so, but I typically really don't. Although I will say, for the record, the Dark Elves are the best elves. Oh, okay. Well, we need to get through this because I'm looking forward to stabbing more zombies in the head. As of late, I found that really cathartic. And if that is the plan, post-stream, you can find me streaming 7 Days to Die on my Discord server, which I presume everyone here has access to. I don't plan on streaming the game live, but I suppose I could. You know, if I get in the habit of regularly streaming anytime I'm playing a game, would there really be demand for that? I suppose I have the Twitch stream. Does it really need scheduling? The thing there is that I absolutely do not want to go through the hassle of promoting it every single time I might randomly start streaming. Plus, I would need basically the express permission of everyone who's playing as well, as all of their spoken audio would be coming through to very unlikely to be an issue. I mean, we all know not to say the really spicy things on a stream. Also, we don't typically say anything terribly spicy, so odds are very low. You know, there could also be another good reason to make it part of the experiment, so that all records are promptly deleted afterwards, just in case we do get a bit carried away. We are 1 minute from live. Maybe we should just get to it. Greetings all! I am Director Archit of Arc Lab, which has been the case for many a year now. I hope you are all well, and welcome to a display of technical difficulty. Why did it do that? I don't know. But it did, and now we all have to pretend we didn't see it. I have to pretend you didn't see it, and I'm doing a terrible job. Nevertheless, here we are with the SCP review, a long-running set of streams for a very long time, at this point, which still has absolutely no risk of expending the list of SCP files. There are so many, have been so many, and will be so many more. Quality can vary. We'll be touching upon one of the older ones. To start off with, we know it's one of the older ones because it's a short number and is a short file. The shorter the file, the younger the file probably is, because I've noticed as the Foundation has gone on, a lot of the authors lost any real gift for brevity. Still a shame the direction SCP is going in. Oh, yes, that is true. How they changed that. I don't care what the official lore is at that point. We all know what the statue looked like. What the statue will always look like. Although, I kind of liked one of the lore-appropriate versions that implied it undergone some event that caused it to fracture and had a bunch of rebar sticking out. I sort of like that interpretation. Still, they couldn't seem to make that work as an image for the file. Embarrassing of them for them. But not the most embarrassing thing. Really, it's just not possible that it could be. I'm thinking I should lower the camera angle. Hold on. How's everyone doing in chat? Please buy me some time while I handle this one oversight of a technical difficulty. Is this position 3? Position 3? It is position 3. Well, that's not quite as it should be. Yeah, it's within tolerances. Let's go with this. Wait a second. Am I getting a haircut where I stand? No, I am. This is absolutely perfect. Why isn't it always set like this? Why hasn't it always been set like this? I know I said it something like this not long ago. Must have been reset. 58's been kind of pissy with me, by the way. Apparently it's the unofficial birthday, according to Nexus Hunter. I didn't keep enough records to be certain about that. Happy ostensible birthday, 58. They're not on the stream, or at least their box isn't enabled, because I don't really perfected their UI. I'm glad today's plans went well, Haven, and may they continue to forever odds be in your favor, something like that. Okay. Well, that should be pretty much perfect now. Position 1. Position 1. No change. Exactly as planned. Right. Let's start with the SCP file. Please be sure to have your request handy when we're at the end of it. Here we go. SCP-454. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-454 should be kept in a plastic bag with a thin piece of acid-free cardstock. This can then be contained within standard procedures with minimal security. There is no need for psychological containment. Description: SCP-454 is a comic book titled The Crypt of Terror. The front cover has a picture of a female nervously looking around, with a shadowy figure some distance behind her. The price is listed as 10 cents. And the issue number is 17. The item bears slight damage from age and normal wear. Greetings in chat, GHRW and Nexus Hunter. Please do stick around. One of you might particularly want this game. It is Brand. Where was I? The item bears slight damage from age normal wear. Although the cover mentions a werewolf, the story does not. Showing a subject a photograph of the item will not trigger an attempt to obtain it. It has no unusual physical or mental effects on subjects who have seen no more than 7 pages of the interior. Such subjects experience a mild desire to read them, but it is no greater than that provoked by any other interesting item. The interior story of the comic, as far as researchers are able to deduce, concerns a woman being stalked by a mysterious force. Julia, the protagonist, refers to the force only as him. Much of the story concerns Julia's efforts to escape him. She finally believes that she has bested it only for it to data expunged. The first and last pages also bear a number of advertisements normal for 1950s era comics, which do not display the item's primary effect. If a subject who shows normal levels of empathy begins to read the comic, they will become more and more interested in it, expressing fear and relief as the story progresses, and finally horror when it ends. Subject's psychological state descends into excessive denial and depression as the story ends. After reading the comic, subjects begin to think and talk solely about a need to save Julia from him. If given time alone and appropriate materials, subjects write or draw a continuation of the story in an effort to provide a continuation where Julia survives. Each of these efforts will end with Julia dead as before, however. In the event that a subject should make Julia survive, through deus ex machina or similar plot device, they will throw away their effort, saying it does not fit into the story. These efforts come to occupy a great deal of the subject's time and effort. A certain percentage of subjects suffer from severe depression, becoming withdrawn and uncommunicative. Higher than normal rates of suicide have been observed. Interviews with the subjects and study of notes left behind show a sense of helplessness and of having failed Julia. Subjects with a history of data expunged undergo an additional event. The subject will write themselves into the story, claiming to have found the perfect way to save Julia personally. Approximately a redacted percentage of such subjects are subsequently found data expunged, presumably dead, I assume because the content is removed. They were strangled by the own cords of their testicles. Despite all logistical problems that idea entails, which is why they expunged it from the SCP file, obviously. Misogynistic or low empathy subjects display no psychological effect and show no interest in the comic or the characters after reading. So you absolutely have to take this comic very seriously or else you hate whammons. Addendum. In a recent experiment, D-class personnel with normal levels of empathy were instructed to read the comic and then placed in isolation. After 48 attempts, one subject claimed to have found a way to save Julia. He was found dead with having been garroted with the tendrils of his own testicles. Gruesome stuff. The security camera in his room suffered electrical disturbances during the event, in which a figure was seen briefly standing in the room. No sign of entry was seen. the security team was placed on probation. Well, that's unfair. Clearly, the security team couldn't have expected him to teleport in there and then grope the guy with his own testicles. Just, the security team they didn't deserve that. I assume the probation was swift, as they realized that was brutally unfair. Okay, character on check. Very good. Next hunter is registered for the raffle, and I don't know if he even knows what game is being raffled off yet. But you all will momentarily. Meanwhile, if you have an SCP request, now's the time to place the number at the end of this one. If there isn't a number placed at this point, I'll go back to the previous numbers, starting with Kalitz as presented first. I'm just concerned that, numbers being presented randomly here. I trust K-Shoal. K-Shoal takes their SCP selection very seriously, and I've come to deeply appreciate that. The rest of you will have to be vetted. It'll probably be 534. Okay, right. First off, the game we're raffling. This key has been provided by one Exodus, and you're all welcome to join the raffle. In order to win, you just have to have a Steam account. Actually, no, from my perspective, JTRW K-Shoal has actually lost you on this request. But as time progresses, we'll probably go to their request after your request, depending on exactly how much time your request takes. First, though, the game we're raffling off. I don't care. Sorry, that wasn't to you. That was to Microsoft.
To the Hellraiser who kills these so-called guardians of the galaxy.
We got this. Guys, huddle up! We'll win this together. Hit the music. Rejoice! You made it just in time for the miracle. All you Drax!
Putting you and your crew under arrest for
Actually, can I call you back?
What?
Drax, destroy!
Greetings, Cess the Grey, and that's harsh.
What are you doing here? Aren't you a little young for the Corps?
Aren't you a little old for that hairdo?
Greetings in chat. Carlos. I'm quite well in context, thank you. I hope you're well as well. We're watching a trailer, real quick, for Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is being raffled off. If I can get to you via Discord or Twitter, you could win.
So the shepherds found fresh flock.
So far, we've got Nexus Hunter, K-Shoal, and JTRW in the raffle. Even though JTRW doesn't actually want the game, but just wants to give it to one of the other two competitors if he should win. But hey, that's just one more number rolled, which at least creates an illusion of what's what I'm looking for? An illusion of anticipation? Hypothetical. Yeah, for the record, we're not pre-ordering anything here. This game has been up some time, Assassin the Grey. It's being raffled off for free to whoever wins the raffle at the end of the stream. You could enter if you wished. Meanwhile, we're moving on to oh! You're not already in the Discord server, Carlos Catreo? That's horrible. We must fix this immediately. Right, let me just get you an invitation. Or to all of you, actually. If you're not on the Discord server, you probably should be. Wait. This could be tricky to do right this moment. Screw it. Here we go. That's what I was afraid of. Stand by. Having pulled this off, I now need to fix it again. Right. Okay. And now no one's going to hear any of my impending messages. We're at 9 concurrent viewers and 8 likes. At 13 likes, I will consider the stream a success. And at not 13 likes, I will not consider success, but promise to keep all of my crying off camera. Okay, on to the next request from GATRW, followed possibly by K. Scholl's request. But first, 534. It was a suspicious number. It sounded random. But I shall trust it's not random. And next up, we'll find out if I've read it before. If not, we're definitely set. Okay, this seems to be new. We're at 7 viewers and 9 likes, which means that presence approval rating is over 100%. So I shall tell myself that over and over again, should we not succeed in yeah. 13. You still want to see the dossier on the director, do you? No. Item SCP-534, Object Class Euclid. Special containment procedures. All instances of SCP-5341 to N3 are to be kept in a plastic-covered, airtight containment chamber. Entrance to the containment chamber is to be conducted through a double airlock, the chamber of which is to be equipped with a high-grade disinfectant. With the exception of testing, all persons entering SCP-534's containment chamber are to wear Class 3 biohazard suits. Description. Although the biological mechanisms behind the support are currently not fully understood, SCP-534 appears to be a collection of several different human blood cells and cell fragments that have been increased in size several hundred times. The components of SCP-534 have been placed into 3 different classifications: SCP-5341, erythrocytes, SCP-5432, neutrophils, and SCP-5343, thrombocytes. Thrombocytes. That's just fun to say. You can't leak a dossier you don't have, kid. But if you want to make one up and release it, I actually approve. I really don't care too much what people believe about me, so long as it's mostly false. Except regarding my character. I take that very seriously. Do try to accurately represent my character. After that, you can say I live 30 leagues beneath the ocean or on Mars, which I don't, not yet. Elon, clock's ticking, I think. Especially with, you know, possible immediate impending World War III with hot nuclear variety, which not keen on. Really not keen on that. I absolutely 100% anti-nuclear world war. And pro-humanity. Not necessarily a member of humanity, but very much pro-humanity. Have to make exceptions. We're all very unique. Some more snowflakey than others. Right. Thrombocytes. All samples of SCP-534 appear to have the ability to survive while floating in the air and are affected by air currents. All concentrations of cells appear to match normal blood with SCP-5341, compromising approximately 97% of SCP-534. No instances of SCP-534 require nutrients. SCP-5341 acts in a manner typical of normal erythrocytes and average 1.7 millimeters in width. It will absorb oxygen from the surrounding air upon coming into contact with living cells of another organism. 5341 will actively diffuse oxygen into the organism. Due to SCP-5341's large size, oversaturation is common, allowing SCP-5341 to enter or touch areas of living tissue may cause oxygen poisoning, resulting in death of the affected area. SCP-5341 appears to have an indefinite lifespan. SCP-5342 is typically 2.2 millimeters across and will perform phagocytosis upon any foreign organic material it comes into contact with. Air samples from SCP-5342's containment area have shown them to be 99.9% pathogen-free. Subjects entering areas containing large amounts of SCP-5342 will report an itchiness in their skin due to SCP-5342 destroying their epidermis. Continued exposure to SCP-5342 will result in subjects being eaten alive. SCP-5342 dies normally. The remaining mass is eaten by other instances of SCP-5342. SCP-5343 is generally 0.5 millimeters across. It will release normal proteins upon becoming disturbed, causing several instances of SCP-5341 to clot. Recorded sizes of clots have been up to 3 centimeters in length. Subjects who stay in an area with a large amount of SCP-5343 and 5341 will become covered in clots within 1 hour. Inhaling SCP-5341 and 5343 simultaneously is lethal. Like SCP-5341, SCP-5343 appears to have an indefinite lifespan. SCP-534 was really discovered by Foundation personnel in Prometheus Labs biology sector, with notes indicating its creation as a replacement for all blood transfusions. Although SCP-5342 was multiplying rapidly, SCP-5341 and 5343 are unable to reproduce and were in limited quantity. Currently, there is no way of reproducing SCP-5341 or 3, and personnel are advised to be careful in their handling. Oceans on Mars, not the rear of the moon. Yeah, well, again, I need to be inaccurate. Snoopy 700. We're striving for inaccuracy on that point. Not that I'm on the moon in alternate realities, 1950s. That would be silly. Very, very silly. Anyhow, let's quickly discuss some of these SCP files. The previous one, we had a comic book that, if you read it, you took it way too seriously and started trying to write the victim's survival into existence, which apparently is perfectly fine to do so long as you don't write yourself into it, which kind of makes me wonder if the comic book in question is a trap from Mary Sue authors. In which case, I could think of a few people in media who should probably be exposed to it. In this case, we have a bunch of, well, greatly magnified pseudo-human blood cells doing a little too well in air. This may or may not be tied to, according to JFU, this may or may not be tied to Mark Fickenbeck's Iron Lung project. The game Iron Lung itself is extremely dystopian and the lore is fascinating. Well, it's entirely possible that this SCP file helped to inspire it. Again, there's a lot of media that I'm absolutely certain has been inspired by SCP files. For good reason. Although they rarely seem to give credit back to the SCP file that inspired it, which is a bit of a shame. They really should, more often. I mean, obviously nothing that detailed, but they could just say, oh yes, well, I did this SCP file, thought it was a great idea, and made a game out of it. That would be enough. Or if they could just fess up that the Weeping Angels were the statue written into Doctor Who lore, and then tarnished for having written into Doctor Who lore. I'm still very angry about Doctor Who, which of course ended in the late 1970s or so, and then there were no more episodes ever. Oh no. We're up to 10 likes. Thank you for your promotion, Assassin the Grey. I remain terrible at promotion and very much appreciate your efforts. We are also open for another SCP request. Well, no, we're not, because we're going to K. Scholl's request next, as soon as I find that number again. Before I do, they look what they did to my boy. They butchered my boy. They absolutely did, in fact. They turned him into a whammon. And they somehow did it in a worse way than Comedic Relief did. Just shockingly terrible. Really, really, really bad. Kashol has requested that I read Kalit's SP request next. Ergo, I shall. Which is, still kind of recognizing Kate Shull's request. It's perfectly chosen and applicable, he says. So it is, we'll assume. I just need to find that number. Where is it? Hold on. I should have taken notes. 106, coming up. SCP-106. Ah, the old man. I've done this before, but it's been in such a long time since I think it bears redoing, and they have generated some new art for it. That's nice. I wonder, did they get an artist to sign off on it? Did they take a screen cap from a game? Or something else? Well, never mind. Item! SCP-106. Object class, Keter. We have 2 revisions we're not going to touch upon. Or should we? We're only halfway through this. I suppose we could. We'll go through the revisions first. They're red links. They're not separate red links. Iteration the first. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is to be allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, class D, etc. are to remain at least 20 meters away from the containment cell at all times except for mandated maintenance and reevaluation checks. Containment cell must be held suspended in a secondary cell, the walls of which must be at least 30 meters distant from the outer walls of the first primary cell. The secondary cell is to remain under total observation at all times and be both eliminated and clear of any null debris. Any items, movement, or non-normal activity observed within the secondary cell result in full site lockdown. Lockdown will be maintained until a situation normal dispatch is issued by Site Command. Any corrosion observed in the primary cell, secondary cell, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters SCP-105 are to report to site security immediately. All and any objects and personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Any reduction in activity or increased compliance from SCP-106 is to be deemed a luring tactic, immediately preceding an aggressive action and treated as such. Note: SCP discontinued due to escape percentage. Revision 11.7. No physical interaction with SCP-106 to be allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than 2/3 vote from O5 Command and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, class D, etc. are to remain at least 30 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except under direct order from Site Command. SCP-106 is to be kept within a sealed container comprised of 16 layers of lead-lined steel, each separated by no less than 18 centimeters open space. Aside from minimal support struts, said container is to be kept suspended by a continuous current system within a fluid medium. This medium is to be replaced in 48-hour cycles and constantly monitored for any corrosion intrusion. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters SCP-106 are to be reported to the site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Repeat. Note: observation SCP-106 has shown a slight resistance when passing through lead or other similar metals. The thickness of the material appears to make no difference. In addition, multiple layers of thin material appear to slow SCP-106 forcing it to enter and re-emerge multiple times. Fluids also appear to temporarily confuse SCP-106. Note: SCP discontinued due to multiple surface breaches. Agitation system continued to disperse corrosion during breach event, resulting in multiple breaches and full containment failure. And now... Wait, what? No, it's not Shy Guy. Different... It is familiar, I'm sure, because they do have... Well, no, Shy Guy is nothing like this. Shy Guy is easy to deal with. As long as you don't pass around photos of him, he kind of stays put. He's just shy of being safe. This bastard is much, much worse. Revision 11.8. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. Any physical interaction must be approved by no less than 2/3 vote from O5 Command. Any such interaction must be undertaken in an AR2 maximum security sites after general non-essential staff evacuation. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc. are to remain at least 60 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except in the event of breach events. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Containers to remain suspended no less than 60 centimeters from any surface by ELOIID electromagnetic supports. Secondary containment areas be comprised of 16 spherical cells, each filled with various fluids and a random assembly of surfaces and supports. Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 8,000 lumens of light instantly, with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed or any component cell services, staff members, or other site locations within the 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing/killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: continued research and observation have shown that when faced with highly complex random assemblies of structures, SCP-106 can be confused, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. SCP-106 has also shown an aversion to direct sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit into the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape incidence by 43%. These primary cells have also been effective in recovery incidents requiring recall protocol redacted. Observation is ongoing. Came across an excellent short indie film involving 106 recently. Well, I'd be tempted to play it randomly, see if I can get away with it. That would be a novel idea. How long is it, Kit? If you happen to know. I'll mull it over. Meanwhile, description. SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance of advanced decomposition. This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. SCP-106 is not exceptionally agile and remains motionless for days at a time, waiting for prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, and then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. SCP-106 appears to prefer human prey items in the 10 to 25 years of age bracket. SCP-106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging in a physical breakdown of materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black mucus-like substance, similar to the material coating SCP-106. This effect is a particularly detrimental to living tissues and is assumed to be a pre-digestion action. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to, quote-unquote, burn out. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. Examples: entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall. Entering a wall and exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin for SCP-106 or a simple layer created by SCP-106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of holes and rooms with data expunged entry. I don't know I'd be called radical area either. It's not that radical. Rusty Larry. Bitter Larry. Obnoxious Larry. Rotting Larry. Oh, is that the case? Ah. If the rustling was bothering you, maybe it's better now. We are 2 likes from success. Thank you for the updated count. This activity continued for days, with some subject individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture, and consumption. I'll spare the details. It's consumption. This thing ultimately eats people, just in a rather unpleasant way. Well, look, maybe they really enjoyed the wrestling. Maybe some of the people there were really excited about the idea of hearing my clothes rub against each other sensually. And now you've ruined that for them here. Although I really don't think so. Really don't think so. And appreciate the heads up. I mean, if I had to watch this later and I heard the wrestling, it would probably annoy the hell out of me. Okay. Addendum, SCP review notes. Due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of SCP-106, SCP is reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible and direct physical damage appears to have no effect on SCP-106. Current SCP, as of redacted date, revolves around basic observation and immediate response. Previous, more active special containment procedures have been recalled due to the events of breaches. Redacted, 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 and, unsurprisingly, redacted. Oh, and we're at 13 likes, making this stream a success! Thank you! Thank all of you! I deeply appreciate that. And hope that over these years, I have successfully managed to be refining my stage presence in an entertaining fashion. Double confetti. Why not? I really do appreciate it. Greetings in chat, Eric the Pug. And that's right. Today's SCP review is successful. The experiment is tomorrow and will be deleting itself, but I'll still hope to achieve success on that one too. So, be sure to tune into that. It'll be a bunch of completely random fun with mostly music. Just starting an hour after this stream did, for the record. Okay. Notes on behavior. SCP-106 appears to go through long periods of dormancy, in which it will remain completely motionless for up to 3 months. The cause for this is unknown, however, and it has been shown that this appears to be used as a lulling tactic. SCP-106 will emerge from this state in a very agitated state and will attack and abduct staff and cause gross damage to the containment cell and the site at large. Recall protocol. Data expunged. SCP-106 appears to hunt and attack based on desire, not hunger. SCP-106 will attack and collect multiple prey items during a hunting behavior event, keeping many alive in the pocket dimension for an extended period of time. SCP-106 has no determinable limit and appears to collect a random number of prey items during an event. The inner dimension accessed by 106 appears to be only accessible by 106. Recording and transmission devices have been shown to still operate inside this dimension, though recordings and transmissions are very degraded. It appears that SCP-106 will play with captured prey and appears to have full control over time, space, and perception inside this dimension. SCP-106 appears data expunged. Recall protocol. Redacted. In the event of breach by SCP-106, a human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket, I'm guessing close to 25 age, Foundation really has no business having any 10-year-olds on staff, or really anyone that isn't legal to drink, at least. And I find the idea that the Foundation would have any expendable staff in that age group very suspicious, with a high probability it's tied to O5s who took regular flights to a small island. This is the old Foundation. You say old Foundation, I say one of the potentially much worse foundations. There are a lot of immoral foundations, Caleb. I suppose this is just one of the more immoral ones. They will typically justify themselves in many iterations. But where were we? A human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with the comprised containment cell being replaced and restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be injured, preferably via breaking of the long bone such as the femur, or the severing of a major tendon, such as the Achilles tendon. Lure subject will then be placed in the prep cell, and the sound emitted by said subject will be transmitted over the site public address system. SCP-106 will typically begin to gravitate toward the lure subject within 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the subject. Should SCP-106 not respond to the initial broadcast, additional physical trauma is to be administered to the lure subject at 20-minute intervals until SCP-106 responds. Multiple lure subjects may be used in the case of major breach events. SCP-106 will typically enter a dormant state after finishing with lure subject. In addition, subjects may data expunged. We have a photo here of Agent redacted after release by SCP-106. Subject had been missing for 2 hours. Subject remained alive for 1 hour after release. It's especially long. Remember to hydrate again. Yes. Well, hold on. Getting hydrated will not keep you from getting drunk. It will do much to reduce the severity of being drunk, which you might consider a bit of a plus. Since we have a full audience and this is a success, before I go to K-Shell's request next, as we seem to have time, I would like to remind everyone we are raffling off a game here. We have 3 entries. I don't know how many of them are serious. For this game, please let me know if you would like this game. If you would like this game, you should let me know in chat so I can add you to the names we're going to be generating numbers. It's Guardians of the Galaxy!
5,000 units to the Hellraiser who kills these so-called Guardians of the Galaxy!
We got this. Guys, huddle up! We'll win this together. Hit the music!
Rejoice! You made it just in time for the miracle.
Oh, you tracks!
This is not good music, correct? Oh! I'm glad you said that, Haven. I had missed your early intro. So, while this is playing, Nexus Hunter, K-Show, JTRW, Haven.
I am putting you and your crew under arrest.
Is that everyone?
What?
Is it? Is it? If so, this is like twice as many people would typically interact. I'm not thrilled. I'm going to find occasional request number. I'm going to start keeping this.
Cadet Gold, what are you doing here?
Aren't you a little young for the Corps?
Aren't you a little old for that hairdo?
Okay, boys, let's start the house!
Ah, 6540. Thank you, Keisha. So, did anyone want to enter the raffle for that game? Anyone? Is anyone else? 4 people is pretty good. 13 likes also is great. Thank you for that. I do appreciate it. It's a small thing, but it helps. SCP-6540 will raffle off the game, and then it's time for me to disappear to my server to stab some zombies in the face, as is my way. Look, spears in 7 Days to Die these days, incredibly satisfying and practical. Oh yes, I don't know if you have 7 Days to Die GW, but I presume you'd be welcome. Just, you're going to be a bit of a disadvantage starting out. I think we have enough hand-me-down gear to get you up and running rapidly. Okay, item SB-6540, object class, safe. Oh, I keep forgetting. I have one of those brains where I finish the SCP, my brain goes, cool, you finished the SCP file, and then I just move on. You like to start from the bottom. Far be it from me to say you can't start from the bottom, GTW. You do you. In order to help you do that, though, we must not help you in any way, I presume. Certainly I don't intend to. You'd have to start on the bottom on your own. As you see fit. Where were we? Oh, yes. The old man, SP-106. Nasty, bastardly thing. I don't know how many tests have been done. Clearly they've been researching incredible new ways to contain 106. I just want to know, have they tried setting off a nuke in its pocket dimension? Or any manner of high-yield explosive? I mean, if they're going to be sacrificing people to it for containment purposes, why not give those people some dead man switches and something to end their suffering ahead of the creature's schedule in a very destructive, possibly screw you 106 sort of way. I suppose it's entirely possible this would go about as well as attempting to just shoot the unkillable lizard until it actually dies, which is to say, completely useless. But I would like to imagine it could work, and we don't know exactly what this pocket dimension is. No, but we could learn how much of an explosion it could handle. I think it's worthy experimentation. Oh well. Item 6540, object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SB-6540 is to be held in a secure strongbox. Storages of SB-6540A should be avoided. SCP-6540A is only to be exposed to Class D personnel. Individuals affected by SB-6540B are to be observed for 4 weeks post-exposure to ensure normative mental function unless they are participating in an active testing regimen involving SB-6540. Description: SB-6540 is a human skull with a large segment of missing cranial mass. When originally found, the object's neurocranium was filled to approximately 75% of its liquid storage capacity with a dark, spiced rum of unknown origin, henceforth referred to as SCP-6540A. SCP-6540A displays no anomalous properties. However, shows chemical signs of having been aged for several centuries. If the object is ever drained to less than 70% of its liquid storage capacity or emptied, it will refill back to 80% at a rate of 1 milliliter per second with SCP-6540-A. Any substance placed within SCP-6540 will react with SCP-6540-A and itself become SCP-6540-A. This only occurs within the object. It is not a property of SCP-6540-A once it has been removed. Boro Crew Manifest. Boro Crew Manifest dated 1904-1991. The Boro was a yacht originally owned by one Dr. Zowie, now in possession of Professor Susan Morse, which embarked on a research voyage beginning on 1904-1991 and ending on 29/11/1991. The vessel was manned by the following operatives: Marcus Smythe, leader of Foundation agents aboard the Boro; Kim Morrison, Chief Security Officer aboard the Boro; Francis DeSantis, Foundation agent aboard the Boro; Dr. Zowie, Chief Foundation researcher aboard the Boro, deceased; and Susan Morris, assistant to Dr. Zowie. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly, but who's going to stop me? Journal of Susan Morris, researcher aboard the Boro, excerpt, start dated 24/05/1991. I'm very concerned about what I've done to myself here. Very well. The SCP file has been started. There are no breaks. Journal of Susan Morris, researcher aboard the Boro, excerpt, start dated 24/05/1991. Entry 1. I discovered my first SCP. Well, Mr. Wu discovered it, but I helped. We're on a research excursion in the Caribbean looking for something. We went on a detour for some reason. Nobody would tell me why, but it seemed really important. We moored at some island for ages until eventually Francis came back with a skull or something. Said he found an old pirate shipwreck. So cool. Entry 2. I went to get Mr. Wu his coffee today, and he told me to stay in the lab. He said it was time to stop being a glorified intern and start acting like a proper lab assistant. Personally, I don't think there's much of a difference. The latter just involves more note-taking. Entry 2.2. Okay, I know I said being a proper lab assistant involved more note-taking, but geez, I haven't written this much into my exams and my hand is killing me. It was all extremely interesting, though. I hope it doesn't get classified so I can read over it later. The skull seems to produce unlimited quantities of rum. Mr. Wu isn't sure how or why, but we were able to establish that there aren't any apparent limits to this. A human skull breaks the first law of thermodynamics. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Entry 3. More notes. The rum doesn't seem to have any anomalous qualities, and neither does the skull itself. There's something inside the neurocranium producing the rum. Anything we put inside the skull also turns into rum. Luckily, we don't have any living test subjects, which isn't something I would especially want to see. Entry 4. It's been a few days, and Mr. Wu thinks we're already close to closing the file on this thing. We just got done with chemical analysis of the object, the rum that it creates, and both seem to be entirely normal. Also, we got the object number over the radio today. 6540, my first sip. I wonder if they'll let me get that as a tattoo. Entry 5. Okay, remember I said the rum doesn't have any anomalous effects? Turns out I was wrong. Mr. Wu decided to let the agents drink the rum while off duty. We aren't normally allowed to have alcohol on board, but he said as long as it was here, they might as well put it to use. Besides, it had been weeks and it hadn't shown any intrinsic anomalous qualities. We all thought that it was probably harmless, but Kim started acting weird, and I don't mean normal drunk weird. She was yelling about gold and jumping on tables. We managed to restrain her, but she kept insisting that her name was Jim and calling us scurvy dogs. And the rum's now designated SCP-6540-A, and no one is allowed to touch it without Mr. Wu's permission. Entry 6. Mr. Wu put in a request for a D-class research subject. but the Foundation can't send one out for months. Mr. Wu is really mad. Apparently they want him to return to an Encore facility, but he isn't having it. This voyage is too important, he kept saying in between what I can only imagine was a torrent of curses in Mandarin. I still know what the point of the voyage even is, but he's this worked up about it. It must be way more important than I thought. Entry 6.2. Mr. Wu wants to use himself as a test subject. Entry 6.3. Me, Marcus, and Kim tried to talk to Mr. Wu out of the insanity, but he wouldn't listen. Kim even offered to do the testing for him, but he refused because we aren't D-class, and he can't ethically let us act as test subjects without explaining to us the full picture ramifications, and because of some reason he can't do that, he won't perform tests on any of us. Only he will do. He's going to start in a week, and I'm really worried. Entry 7. Mr. Wu started this new batch of experiments today. He poured a bunch of 6540A into a bottle and started taking shots. He didn't seem to have a very high alcohol tolerance, and he got hammered before anything could happen. Not a very productive day. Entry 8. Today, Mr. Wu had SB6540A administered intravenously. He had me severely diluted and put it in IV, and then when I attached to him, this method seemed to work better. He got rinsed again, of course, and faster than he could have from drinking. But then something happened. He seemed to sober up. He got up and started pacing the room, muttering to himself. I couldn't quite make out what he was saying, but it didn't sound at all like him. The vocal cadence and the accent were completely different, not to mention his gait and posture. It was like someone else. I tried to get his attention, but had no luck. After a while, he looked around the room, ran to the door, and hit his head. Knocked out cold. More productive than yesterday, to be sure, but I really hope he's okay when he wakes up. Entry 8.2. Mr. Wu woke up and he was so excited. Apparently while he was pacing the room and experiencing some kind of a vivid hallucination, which he's calling SB6540B. While under the effects of 6540B, he was experiencing life as some kind of a pirate. Captain Jim Thompson, he said. I checked, this Jim guy was a pretty big deal. A legendary pirate captain who roamed the area, currently sailing back in the late 19th century, late 16th century, 17th centuries, before going missing in 1705. I suggest that maybe this Jim Thompson character was the original owner of SCP-6540, but Mr. Wu thought it was unlikely. He wouldn't explain why. Still, this is exciting! Mr. Wu wants to do an experiment this week to try and document the effects of 6540B and to see how much we can learn about Jim Thompson. I'm still worried, but at least he's taking things slow. Entry 9. SB6540B, experiment number 3. Same method as last few times, and very similar result. Lots of pacing, muttering from listening back to the recording. I think this was one half of a conversation Jim had once. When he woke up, Mr. Wu confirmed this. It was some kind of exceptionally inspiring, rousing speech for his crew before they attacked a British ship. Wouldn't reenact it, but I got the gist. It's also interesting how different his reaction has been to Kim's, far more reserved. Mr. Wu isn't interested in that right now, though, and seems to be more focused on the experimentation. I'm kind of jealous. This experiment is starting to seem like a lot of fun for the subject. And here I am, taking notes. Entry 10. I know he's a genius scientist and all, but I wish Mr. Wu was a better orator. I'm pretty invested in the story of Jim Thompson, but now that's despite Mr. Wu's clinical tone. I'm so glad Jim managed to find the traitor, though. If the crew had been successfully led in that Spanish trap, it would have been a disaster. 14 likes. Fantastic. Thank you. Entry 11. Mr. Wu is worrying me again. Apparently we're increasing the volume of experiments from weekly to daily. He doesn't seem as passionate about the voyage anymore. The experiment is all he wants to talk about. Kim wanted to conduct a medical exam, but Mr. Wu refused. Pulling rank when Marcus tried to order it. He even got the key code to the ship's cabin wrong as well. He's never done that. Entry 12. I think something is really wrong with Mr. Wu. He won't stop talking about the experiment. It's all he thinks about. It's all he seems to remember. He seems legitimately shocked that there was anyone else in the ship but him and I. I think he's been ignoring messages from the Foundation. I found him earlier standing on the prow, just staring out into the sea. He looked like he could see something coming I couldn't. Entry 13. Mr. Wu seemed really shaking up. Last night's experiment seemed normal,
But when he woke up, he immediately ran to his office and locked the door. When he came out, he wouldn't talk to me about anything. I reviewed the footage and listened to what Jim was saying. He was apparently making a bulk purchase of rum and read the contract out loud as he signed it. August 6, 1705, the day before he disappeared.
Entry 14.
Mr. Wu is experimenting on himself now. He just locked the door to stop me from intervening. I can still access the footage though. Jim opened one of the bottles of rum he purchased and released something. He fought it, but he had to run away deep into the island. After the experiment, Mr. Wu took some tablets and immediately started another one. Then again, it's been like this for days and only stopping to eat. I don't think he's even taking notes anymore.
Entry 15.
Mr. Wu's dead.
Entry 16.
The laboratory doors finally opened and let us recover Mr. Wu's body. Even though the instruments told us his passing 24 hours ago, procedure is procedure. The cause of death appears to have been a headwind of some kind, but I believe this to be a product of SCP-6540-B. As far as I can tell from the recording, he had reached the end of Jim's life story and died at the hands of whatever the thing was. I checked and Mr. Wu's wound matches the wound on SCP-6540. The chain of command places Marcus in charge of the ship, but I'm officially acting head researcher on this now concluded voyage. Mr. Wu's journal appears to have been automatically wiped upon his death, but I still have his research notes, which might even include the reason why we were out here in the first place. I'll start reading it tomorrow, which should help pass the time as we head to the nearest facility.
Entry 17.
Holy shit, Wu was a fucking lunatic.
Entry 18.
I printed out a paper copy of Wu's files and threw the hard drive into the ocean. I'll burn the paper copy as well, but first type up my own report expressing why absolutely no one should ever try to follow in his footsteps. And I'm keeping the boat. It was never Foundation property anyway. And after what he almost did, the agents and me, it's the least I deserve.
End of excerpts. I'm pretty sure that's not tolerable Foundation procedure to just let employees go rogue and swipe a ship. Voyage of the Burrow, report abstract dated 13/12/1991 by Susan Morris.
I submit this report to the Earth Year Council to explain the events surrounding the voyage of the Boro and the discovery of SCP-6540. Attached to this document are copies of every surviving file pertinent to both, including research notes and suggested containment methods. Aside from the unintentional discovery announced as SCP-6540, this voyage has been an exercise in futility. The initial leader of said voyage was Dr. Zhu, who I believe was intensely delusional long before exposure to 6540. 6540 merely exacerbated this. This voyage's true hidden intention was to track down some dark entity which he believed posed a great risk if left unchecked, and sacrifice the entire crew, including himself, to it. Reviewing his files, I found no evidence that this creature even existed. Once he began experimenting on himself with SCP-6540, he became convinced that it was somehow connected to this dark entity. Again, I found no evidence of this within his files, which I was then forced to destroy to avoid them being found and misinterpreted by then acting captain of the vessel. Given these circumstances, the fact that we, by complete chance, managed to locate and contain the anomalous object is likely the best outcome we could have hoped for.
Addendum. SCP-6540-A has been found to have cognitohazardous qualities. Consumption of SCP-6540-A will induce an effect hereto referred to as SCP-6540-B. The subject afflicted by SCP-6540-B is not considered to be inherently anomalous once SCP-6540-B has worn off. SCP-6540-B is a state of transcendental hallucination induced by excess consumption of SCP-6540-A. While under the effects of SCP-6540-B, the subject will experience the life and times of SCP-6540. One Captain Jim Thompson from their point of view. Each experience with SCP-6540-B will progress as the life story until its eventual end at the hands of an unknown, likely anomalous entity. These hallucinatory experiences are often narrated in character by the subject as they are experienced, allowing for documentation. However, this heavily depends on the subject. Exposure to SCP-6540-B can induce major personality changes, symptoms of psychosis, and is also considered to be psychologically addicting. This is believed to be non-anomalous and is likely simply a consequence of SCP-6540-B's dissociative nature. Continuous exposure to SCP-6540-B has a 100% fatality rate, as once the subject reaches the end of SCP-6540's life story, they suffer an injury identical to that visible on SCP-6540 and expire. I did it. I got through, and we're only 4 minutes past schedule at 14 likes, which means it's time for a raffle. 4 entries, starting with Nexus Hunter for Guardian of the Galaxy. But before I do that, I will make better point of discussing the SCP here. It's a skull that produces infinite rum, and they had to ruin it by making it fatal. Those bastards. Also, Zwalu was clearly a madman. And his assistant was utterly insufferable. But one does wonder what the hell Captain Jim Thompson pulled out of a rum bottle. I hypothesize the original captain was stabbed to death in the head with a rum bottle. But that's your hypothesis. And personally, I'm just glad my drink is vodka. I don't think there's any anomalous murderous vodkas in the Foundation registry. I might have to search to find out. Okay, it's raffling times. Was there anyone watching just now who hadn't signed up for the raffle that wanted to? Nexus Hunter, K-Show, JTRW, Haven. Maybe not in that order, but the order is kind of irrelevant.
1,000 units to the Hellraiser who kills these so-called Guardians of the Galaxy.
We got this.
To have the rum bottle, there was this one time when Top was stabbed with one by an evil Nunez allergic to cats.
We'll win this together. Hit the music.
Rejoice! You made it just in time for the miracle.
All you tracks!
I'm just trying to picture how anyone could stab any man to death with corn. Very silly horror film. Stephen King movie.
Peter Quill, I am putting you and your crew under arrest for
Actually, can I call you back?
What?
I mean, well, it didn't happen. It was in the scene from the movie, so obviously it didn't actually happen. It's really hard to picture how it possibly could. You know, corn is known for a lot of things, and some people, I'm told, have inserted it in themselves or other people, but not typically in a weaponized context. In fact, for the longest time, I thought that's what cornholing was until I learned it was actually a game.
Cadet Gold, what are you doing here?
Aren't you a little young for the Corps?
Aren't you a little old for that hairdo?
Okay, I don't think we're reading new entries. Let's get this taken care of. First, I need to ensure random.org I'm human, which of course I am. Who would doubt this? Oh, you're right. A number for Nexus Hunter first. Nexus Hunter has rolled an auspicious 97. Next up, K-Show. K-Show has rolled a less auspicious 65. Next up, JTRW. JTRW has rolled a 4. And finally, probably not fairly. Haven has rolled a 58. Haven, I might suggest you, if you really want the game, you might want to have a chat with. No judge of you. You lose. You win nothing! Because we're trying for the highest 100. Maybe I should explain that first. But you definitely did not, under any circumstances, win. If we were going for the lowest number, you would have, yes. But we've never done that way, so yeah. Meanwhile, Haven, if you're listening, you should probably check with Nexus about this. Otherwise, he's getting the key, and if he sees fit, he can pass along to you, or if he wants to keep it, that is his right as the winner of the raffle. And with that, we're done here. Thank you all for tuning in. Feel free to tune in, well, about this time, 9 minutes prior, tomorrow, for the next The Experiment. And be aware that in my own fumbling, competent way, I'm striving to make all my shows better. And I work on a new one. I just need to figure out, what task do I give the idiot that leads to his demise? Repeatedly, hopefully. But I think it will involve Chihuahua somehow. Meanwhile, until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable, ostensibly. Strictly speaking, the mentioning of cornholing might have actually upped this to rated R. Probably not, though. Unless, of course, I ran afoul of the rating board. In which case, yes. Otherwise, PG-13 at worst.